electronics. You turn off your alarm clock in the morning, wake up, microwave your breakfast, text a few friends, drive to school, listen to your iPod in between classes, maybe play some games on your phone, stop by and get some fast food on the way home, turn on your TV and see what's happening on Facebook, play some Xbox maybe, and watch a movie later. This is basically our life every day, give or take a few electronics. I want to inform you on the harm we're causing to our lives by using electronics as much as we do. It's causing changes to the way we think, act, and our health. KPCC did a report on how technology is affecting our use of logic. When driving somewhere, do you guys pull out a GPS or do you pull out a Thomas guide? Most of us will pull out a GPS, but what if there's traffic on that route and you don't know how to get around it? We're still going to stay on that route that the GPS selected for us. We're too afraid to move out of that path because we don't know where we're going to be. Our logic is getting less and less. If I were to show you this Thomas guide, would you know how to get from San Diego to Napa? I'm guessing no. I can't even do it. Another way that it's changing our electronics or changing the way we use our logic is, say you're doing a test and there's a simple math equation and it's just multiplication. I'm guessing a lot of you will freak out and hope that you got the answer right because you just wish you had a calculator or you could use your phone to do the multiplication for you. So now that we've seen the way it affects our thinking, let's see how it affects the way we act. Because of the way electronics are used, we've gotten so used to a fast-paced life with microwaves and calculators and texting and driving everywhere we can go. But we need to slow down. People can't stand waiting for a package to come in the mail. We do express delivery. We can't stand driving behind a slow driver. We have to swerve around them and get into a faster lane. So it's made us impatient. Another way it's changed our actions are through violence. A lot of games that kids are playing nowadays are connected with violence. CBS reported on an 18-year-old in Alabama who killed 3 people, 2 of which were cops. And his crime was very similar to crimes that are committed in the game Grand Theft Auto. He played upwards of 6 hours a day, and that game actually acted as a murder simulator. It prepared him for what he was going to do in real life. Another thing that games are causing harm to children with is with sexual activity. There are a lot of sexual-related things happening in games and movies, and it's causing kids to do these in real life to seem more like an adult. They want to be more mature, so they're doing these things as well. Now that we've seen how it affects our actions, let's see how it affects our health. The Center for Disease Control, I'm losing my slide. So that is like the simulator. It kind of helps you be prepared. The Center for Disease Control shows that, in the 70s, the obesity population was about 5%, but now since the 70s, it's gone up to upwards of 20. This isn't as accurate. I couldn't find one better. This is only at 2004. We are now well above 20%. So you can see how fast it is rising. This is a chart of the United States showing our obesity. There is no state less than 20% of obesity. 13 states actually have more than 30% of the population having obesity. And I think this is directly related to electronics because of how fast we've been progressing in the technological world. Electronics have caused a lot of harm to the way we're thinking, our actions, and our health. I'm not saying stop using electronics because I know that's pretty much impossible in our life now. I'm just saying maybe take a break, go outside and swim or play sports, maybe even, I know this is crazy, read. It might hurt you, I don't know. But yeah, just try to take a break and be aware of the harm it's causing to our lives. Thank you.
Actually, I don't. Joshua, you're not here, are you? All right. So, hang on just a second. I'll have some comments for you. Okay, I like the attention device. You've got a lot of good examples in the describing a person's typical day, and the topic, I think, is introduced in a nice way. Excuse me. Your thesis statement is a little problematic. There's that inform word that we tried to keep you from ever doing, and then it actually isn't informative. It's more persuasive in nature, trying to convince us that this problem exists, that it's something that we should worry about. It's basically a claim of fact that you're advancing, which means that you're going to need a lot more proof on some of the points. And I think that some of the proof is a little thin. You've got some hypotheticals that are interesting, like with the GPS. It would have been nice if you could have gotten that picture integrated earlier in this. I can tell you just forgot it, and it didn't click on. And I think that might have helped that a little bit more seem really practical and involved. The strong things in the material, it's very easy to follow. You have excellent internal signposts. I think you've got interesting ideas and arguments, but they all need some additional development. For example, you make this whole argument about the speed at which we are leading our lives, but you don't have any proof on this. There's no expert that suggests this. There's no research that backs this up. All you have are hypothetical examples on that, and I think that's a little bit problematic. On the violence link, you've got the one example that you're using, and I think that that's an awfully big inference to be making. You're a little bit better on the obesity argument because you've got some statistics that you include with your visual, which I thought was nice, but connecting it, for instance, to the electronics, I think needs to be a little bit stronger. For example, if you could talk about the amount of time that we've increased each day devoted to electronics, or the amount of time that we have refrained from engaging in physical activity because of those kinds of things. So instead of playing football, for instance, after school, kids are going home and playing football online after school, and they may be spending the same amount of time playing football, but they're not getting the same kind of benefit. There's probably some data on how much time people are spending on doing the everyday physical activities, and how that's decreased over the years also. And your explanation is mostly that we're doing all these other things as a consequence, watching a movie or Facebooking or whatever it happens to be. The pictures, like I said, I think they would have worked better if you'd been able to integrate those first couple into the speech a bit. I thought the obesity thing was the one that worked the best. You sound like you were rushing from the moment you get started. You need to pace yourself a little bit. Your speech goes 4.5 minutes, and you've got 8 minutes. I'm sure when you practiced it at home, it was 6.5, 7 minutes every time. That's one of the things we'll talk about coming up next. Is boy, that energy level kicks in. People get a little anxious, and the next thing you know, that 6-minute speech turns into a 4-minute speech just because you're just going so fast. So you got to pace yourself a little bit more. All right, thank you.
This looks elegant.